Howdy. Welcome. We are here. This is Gronk. And it is a new moon, which calls for some intention setting. So I do some reading about like what's the best type or theme of intention to set for the new moon. And for the new moon, just where we get kind of ritualistic. He's ready to hunt. So where we can get kind of ritualistic and like make our journaling and make our goal setting really intentional. This is just too bright. It's far away. Okay. So with some work that I've been doing lately, it's really important to me that I maintain some of these new habits and perspectives that I've been working on cultivating. So basically, rather than feeling like I need to push, improve, and be a solo leader, I really want to work on cultivating like genuine, compassionate human connections with people. So that's one thing. And a big part of maintaining that and staying soft and staying open so that connection is an option. A big part of that is what I've been calling radical acceptance. I've found lately that I noticed when I'm bracing, I brace when I scroll, and I've started checking in with myself of like, what are you trying to protect yourself from? Because the reality is I'm probably sitting on the couch or laying in bed, and to remind myself that like, oh, I'm safe right now. In this moment, I am safe. And it really helps my body soften and feel more open and actually like alive rather than bracing as I scroll. So there is as I'm hearing myself talk, I'm hearing staying open, radical acceptance. Radical acceptance is basically, so sometimes we get a little bit sometimes we get the concept of acceptance a little bit misconstrued, where we think acceptance means that we're like okay with something. We're like, yeah, I accept this. This is okay, this is fine, I'm good with the fact that this thing happened. Acceptance is actually just being honest with yourself about reality. Acceptance is a neutral awareness that something happened. It's not saying that we're okay with it. It's not saying that we're not okay with it. Acceptance is just saying, this is the reality. The reality is I'm sitting on the couch and checking in with the acceptance of just a neutral awareness of what our current moment is. That's acceptance. And I really want to work on doing that, connecting to that idea more often. I also find myself slowing down, which is really lovely. And slowing down in mind makes it so much easier to think clearly, so that when I do get to a task, I am able to prioritize. I know what I'm doing. And then I'm able to do it well because I'm just moving a little bit slower, a little bit more intentional. I also want, there's not just an openness, but like it's being open-hearted, being compassionate to others, you know, so often something that I realize is that so much of my work focuses on self-compassion and the emphasis on self, even though there's like this understanding that pain and hardships are part of being human. The fact that we're talking about self-acceptance is there's still this like egoic or separateness to it. And I'm really leaning into wanting to just be compassionate for all of humanity. Not that I wasn't compassionate before. I think I was just like, how I was showing up came from a place of fear rather than a place of love. And that's kind of the shift that I'm making. So with that, I think I'm also trying to move out and clear out a lot of fear. And fear is the root of so much suffering, where it could be just like, I used to think that if I was not mentally in my inbox, life would, like, things would crash. My business would crash. Like, I was so hyper-focused, and there was a day that I made the choice to stop thinking about it. Like, just stop thinking about your inbox. If you're not in your inbox, if you're not answering emails, don't think about them. And it's, like, incredible how much more space my brain has. So letting go of things like fear around my business if I don't answer clients within 30 minutes, basically. I think some of that's kind of some of the intentions that I'm setting, but I also want to do a quick little card spread, and we can do that together. I can feel myself be like, what am I doing? Nobody's gonna watch this. It's too slow, it's not exciting, and as much as my ego is like, what's the point? There's just a weird pull that I have towards showing up and doing this. And I think we need more slow content in our world. So this is it. Take it or leave it. I also would really want cinnamon for my coffee, but that's in the kitchen. Okay, so I have a bit of a spread. I shuffled my cards. This is a deck that I'm still kind of learning how to play with, still kind of feeling out, but it feels very powerful and healing. The cards are very artsy. I like them. These ones are a little bit longer to read, so I may or may not edit this. Probably not, because I only have so much capacity. So this is, what is the new moon giving me a push towards? Divine wisdom is guiding your life path. It is true, it is real, more compelling and reliable than any confusion or concern. What might be regarded as an obstacle today What might be regarded as an obstacle today may tomorrow be gratefully recognized as a much-needed protection, ensuring your path and purpose can flourish. You're on a worthy, good, and spiritually necessary journey. Though you may not see evidence of it yet, your fruition is divinely assured. I really realized that I maybe should have assessed and felt it out before I got reading, but that really aligns with some experiences I've had recently where I got some really good news, and then they were like, psych, that good news wasn't for you. And my capacity to roll with that punch, where it was incredibly heartbreaking and sad because it was an opportunity that I was really hopeful for. I also genuinely believe that rejection is because it's not what I'm supposed to be doing right now. There's something else out there for me, and to genuinely believe that is wild, and is one of the things that I've been working on. But I genuinely believe that there the opportunities that are the opportunities that I need are going to come to me, and to just kind of trust things to unfold. And it can be terrifying to kind of like, I find like we can kind of get to a neutral and be like, okay, we're good. But to then be genuinely trusting and hopeful about the future is totally different. And that's kind of I'm trying to like kind of tip over that neutral point so that I can genuinely trust that it's a beautiful, wonderful life. And so much of that also just comes from, can we come home to ourselves and just like stay connected and grounded in the moment regardless of what we're doing. I think that's one of the big lessons I'm learning right now. We don't have to keep pushing and fighting. This is how can I get clear on my goals? What should I release? And what can I anticipate? This is where, like, when I see the visuals, I don't always know how to interpret, but like, this is my how can I get clear on my goals card. And I feel like the feather feels very symbolic, but I don't know how. And if there's like an intuitive sense to it, is almost where my brain is going. A divine reordering is unfolding in your life, manifesting as an inner stirring and spiritual push to give expression to something hitherto in chaos. Courageously and confidently commit to your manifestation. See through unsteady beginnings as this newness grows into fullness. Something beautiful and true is meant for you. Fearlessly and fully embody your process with trust in the ultimate blessing to be bestowed. Again, I just have this sense of like, regardless of what we're doing, can we come home and feel settled within ourselves? Hey, buddy? You want up there? Yes, this is my kitty cat. Hey, buddy? Please not on the table. What should I release so that I can move forward? This almost feels like a gripping. There's a gripping on to like what kept you safe. What were you clinging to make you feel safe? Is almost what I get from her. Love is the heart's divine elixir and a trustworthy presence capable of attracting every good and needed thing. Partake of this medicinal soul tonic within, attuning to its sweetness and relaxing into its generosity. The vibration of your heart is manifesting your salvation now through its magnetic magic, which often supersedes logic. Embrace your heart and your... Ooh, I like that. Supersedes logic. So basically, the energy that we show up with is going to pull things into our life before we can logically understand what's happening, which I quite like. And I promise not all the cards in the deck are about like manifestation and growth and wisdom. This is where I'm like, oracle cards are a very nice opportunity to reflect, but I have some decks that I get the same 10 cards over and over and over again out of a 52 card deck. So it can get kind of spooky and weird like that. So it's interesting to note the theme amongst these cards. Fiber super seed logic. Okay. So much of this is just like letting go of fear, connecting to the heart, trusting things are going to work out is what I'm reading. This is what can I anticipate over the next 6 months. This girl is holding a bird and she's got 3 wolves with her. And yeah, I've had some conversations with folks about how is it you're a black sheep or is it that you're a white wolf and you just don't fit in with the black wolves that are around you. So this is interesting. The red also feels very powerful in the background. Fiery. Evolve from making do to building up from within. We can't connect into ourselves. Articulate the practices, places, and people that strengthen and brighten your spirit. Such treasures are to be sought and protected. Choose to cultivate happiness and compassion. That's what we were setting this intention. Treat your heart as the divine gem that it is. Even now it is enticing life's vitalizing magic into your life. Nourish yourself with the knowledge nourish yourself with the knowledge that you are destined to succeed. Okay, so all of this is basically like connect with yourself, show up open-hearted with compassion, and doors are going to open, opportunities are going to come. That's basically what I'm hearing. And I think that last card was particularly interesting because the practice piece is something that I'm really working on cultivating more of. You know, like it's one thing to have the intention of being compassionate, but if there's no formal practice of sitting down and genuinely connecting with that sense of love that we all have inside of us, then it's hard to be compassionate. You know, like what is the routine and habit and action or routine or ritual that you want to get into to cultivate that connection? So I think for me, I am working on taking intentionally mindful mornings where they are slow. I get to enjoy my coffee. I put on some like vibey music. I try to notice when I'm talking fast and not breathing. Breathing is starting to feel more normal. It helps me not rush. I think noticing when I'm rushing and intentionally pausing to slow down when I'm like doing things like walking through the hallway or driving around the city. I also saw a post recently that said, you know, sometimes we talk about this idea of mindfulness as if it's just like a passive experience of you should just be able to slow your thoughts down and be in the moment. But it actually takes a lot of intention. Like it's so simple theoretically. In theory, can we show up in the moment with a non-judgmental open awareness to the reality? That's the acceptance piece. But so often our brains are like mulling over ideas or thinking about what's next, or rather than, you know, we can get so busy trying to get to work that we're not actually in the moment enough to avoid the pothole on our way to work. And then we end up being upset because our car is damaged. When if we had just slowed down and actually been in the car while we were driving to work, we probably could have slowed down and avoided the pothole, therefore avoiding expenses and vehicle damage. So that's what I'm going to be practicing. That's what I'm going to be working on. I invite you to join me and join me in slowing down. Join me in taking intentional pauses to stay open-hearted, checking in with our body, becoming aware in those moments where we're bracing and wanting to resist, and then letting our body soften because we're safe for the most part. I realize this, I might be sharing some of this when crazy things are happening in the world right now, so I acknowledge that I am privileged to be where I am geographically in the world and to be physically safe. But it also might be a helpful reminder to balance advocacy with self-care. making sure that you are taking care of yourself as someone who's advocating for others. I say that from personal lived experience and wanting to practice it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to do with you. I think I'm just going to sit and meditate for a bit, connect to that sense of love and compassion and open-heartedness. It's fascinating to actually have the opportunity to kind of, like I was talking about before, like get past neutral. It's almost like I forgot what it felt like to feel joyful. and slowing down has been like a very spiritual experience. It's fascinating. Anyways, I feel like I'm rambling now and just filling space. So this is my new moon timing reset, and this is just one of the ways that I make my journaling and reflections into a ritual rather than just a habit. There's lots of love infused in this, and I feel like I'm ready for what's to come with this new moon for the next 2 weeks, and then we will reflect again. Thank you for hanging out.